I'll tell you something. If this dressing gown could talk, it'd tell you I really need lockdown to head to the pubs to reopen because I really need a new girlfriend and a new dressing gown. Good morning, Blades fans, it's Matchday, and of course this is the first episode of Beer and Breakfast. The aim of this little breakfast show is to get your Blades Matchday started, to get a bit of Blades build up away from Sufc and all that big four, top four stuff that they get on TalkSport and everything else. Not that there's no wrong with TalkSport, I'm going to later. We're going to have the manager comments, predicted lineups, by the numbers makes a return, and hopefully we'll give you some recommendations so you can start your matchday properly. So here's what you do to start off with. Grab yourself a bacon butter, sausage butter, whatever. Make sure you butter your bread. Fuck you, Kev. And let's hear what the manager's had to say pre-game.
Yeah, he's off site at the moment. He's having some specialist treatment in London, so no stone uncovered in terms of getting Xander back as soon as possible without re-injuring himself from a sensible way. But as you can imagine, the attitudes of the two boys, which I've talked about for a long time, him and Jack O'Connell, are superb. They want to come back and help the group. They're desperate to get back in, but there has to be a sensible decision on them. So Jack's out on the grass at the moment. We're hoping that he can step up his return to training and return to playing in the next couple of weeks. Fingers crossed he goes through that process, because obviously we have to clear him. And the same with Xander, but both attitudes are brilliant, and as you would imagine they would be. There's a couple of selection issues, in which I've said, if people think that I just want to chop and change it to show what a brilliant tactician I am, then they're wrong. I want a selected side. I want a side that's consistent. So I don't want to keep chopping and changing, but people keep making mistakes, and I've got to try and find a solution. If people get injured, I've got to try and find a solution in that, whether it's shape, whether it's personnel or whatever. So I'm, like we talked about, I'm not going to leave the best players on the bench. I think if this was a game is right for these players, I will do. But consistency, as talked about last year, defensive record. We were never going to score 75, 80 goals in this division. I think that's understandable as a newly promoted team, and every team has a different way of going about it. And obviously ours was a successful one. But that back eight, I wouldn't want to change. Why would I? But I'm having to, because of loss of form as well as injuries to key players. We analyse all the time. We analyse statistically where we were at last year to where we're at this year. Of course we're going to do, because that year was a fabulous season. We analyse this year, what we've done all right in certain games to what we haven't done. But you can't understand or paper over individual mistakes, whether they're it's a situation. I look at the Fulham game that we played at the start of the season, and I look back, and I know it's quite a long time ago. I'm shaking my head, and how we've not won that game. And obviously we waited a long time for a win, because first off we had so many chances. So these are individual mistakes, and then the individual mistake that have led to us conceding goals, and obviously taking a massive whack into us from our belief and confidence point of view. So we're behind at times, and we're trying to bridge that gap, and we feel we try and bridge that gap. And I look at the likes of West Ham, and they don't make mistakes. And that's the position that we're in. We never made as many mistakes last year, and that was the position that we're in maybe an unprecedented season, a real one-off as a promoted side. But established Premier League players, don't make those mistakes and allow themselves an opportunity of winning games of football. And we've made far too many mistakes. And as you said, I'm not saying to Kean Bryan, no, Kean understands the personality of what you've got to be like in our changing room, and it does me head in as well overall that people talk about not being able to say this to him, not being able to say that to him. Well, in any walk of life, people are allowed to say anything to people in the workplace within reason. So when I criticise somebody, I criticise Kean Bryan saying, Kean, you can't check back, you need to play forward. You can't make that back pass because it's going to get punished. And it does, it gets punished. So, and then all of a sudden we're back in the game against Chelsea and it gets punished and we're 2-1 down. It's situations like that. The individual brilliance that comes with the league, Andy, I understand and accept. And you put your hand up to, and you understand that can happen in this league. But individual errors, consistency in performances, consistency in selections has played a huge part why we're in this position.
I think both teams are going to want to do all they can to win the game, and I don't know the exact numbers, 14, 15 games left. And of course, we go into this game. We picked 4 points up this week, which was always going to be a tough week. We go into now, which is a tough game with Sheffield at the weekend. And I think both teams it's evident. I've said that for the last few weeks now, every game for us really we're going to go into and we want to try and win the game. And that's going to come on Saturday. I definitely think there's this division. You go on a couple of bad runs. I think we've seen in a short space of time a couple of teams or a few teams that are around it have gone and put back-to-back wins together, and before you know it, you climb yourself out, and vice versa. And I think we've seen that throughout our experience through the Premier League, really. So 14 games left, that's an awful amount of points. And if you're sitting at the top of the table, like the teams are, like the Man City is, it's probably the same message in terms of a lot of football to be played, a lot of points to be played, nothing's done. And it's the same at the other end as well. So that's exactly how I see it at this present moment in time. We're very confident. Confidence is very high, and I think it's been that case for large parts of this season, and certainly our performance levels over the last 3-4 months you've seen that as well. So big game for us the weekend, and we understand that, and we know what's at stake, and we know what we need to do. Of course, performance probably comes a little bit secondary at this moment. We want a result, and that's our main aim to do on Saturday. A tough game, a real tough game. Like you said, played them early on in the season. A manager with vast experience and has done an exceptional job at Sheffield. So look, I think we both realise what's at stake tomorrow and the battle, what that's going to bring. My team will be as prepared as best we can to obviously try and get the points. Both teams are going to want to win the game. They're going into the game knowing that you want to try and get the maximum points here. So in terms of that, both teams in and around that end of the table where we both need to win. We'll certainly need to pick up some results, and we'll both be looking at this. Chris will be the same, looking at this, thinking it's an opportunity for him to do that.
Hello everyone at the Shoreham View. My name is Don Betts from the Fulham podcast and YouTube channel, and I've been invited to come on and give you a bit of the Fulham perspective going into our game at Craven Cottage on Saturday evening. It's a massive game for us. Obviously, we picked up a win against Everton last Sunday, and the pressure we could really have piled on Newcastle this week was massive, because we were playing twice, including this game for the next game against, I think, Manchester United. So it's really a must-win game for us, this. We got the point against Burnley, which wasn't the end of the world, but it does really pile the pressure on our next two games against yourselves and Crystal Palace. And, it's a must-win game for them going into this with any chance of staying up. I mean, it's crazy what's happened to you guys this season, considering when we're going to our reverse fixture at the beginning of the season, we're both sort of at the bottom, but you guys thought, we've got the quality, we'll eventually get out of it, but that hasn't seemed to have happened. But yeah, Fulham, I wouldn't say we've turned the corner, but we have been putting performances in for a long time now. We just haven't been getting results. I think we did get a win against Everton, but again, that was only our third win this season. You guys have won the same amount, maybe even more games than us this season. So yeah, it's a really important game for us, and we simply have to win this game. When you're playing teams who are somehow even below us in the table, it's really a must-win game for, especially as we only drew with Burnley, we only drew with West Brom, so drew with Newcastle before Christmas. We really need to go into a game with a team in and around us and beat them. Because if you look at 2 of our 3 wins this season, they've come against Everton and they've come against Leicester away from home. So the surprise results, we need to start winning the games we should be expected to win. And, you know, Sheffield United, who sit 20th in the table at home, has to be one of those games. Predicted lineup for us, I don't see Scott Parker changing it too much. But if it was me, I'd take out Loftus-Cheek. I don't see what he offers us. You know, he's a big name, but performances-wise, I don't think he's been good this season. He's only got 1 goal and 0 assists this season, so the numbers aren't there. I'd take him out and bring in someone either like Cavallero or bring in someone like Anguissa and play sort of an actual midfield 3 with, you know, Anguissa playing further forward. But yeah, no, and that's the team I'd go with. So at the back of the Areola in net with Olarina, Kene Tete, Tosna Adebayo and Joaquin Anderson. Midfield, you know, Lamina, Reed and Anguissa. Then front 3 of Maja, Bobby Reed and Anamola Lookman. But I just know he's going to end up playing Loftus-Cheek because he somehow played 90 minutes in the last 2 games despite playing absolutely terrible. Players to watch out for, it's got to be Anamola Lookman and Josh Maja going forward. They're our main players. I know Bobby Reed's our top goal scorer, but you know, those 2 are players I'd watch out for. You know, Maja got 2 against Everton, and he's finally showing what we need really. Someone who can put the ball in the back of the net. And I'll go for a score prediction as well. I think I'll go with 2-1 Fulham win. I don't think we don't win games by that many goals. We don't score too many goals. That's been our biggest problem this season. So I think we will get the 3 points because we simply have to get the 3 points on the weekend. But yeah, 2-1 Fulham. I've been Don Betts from the Fulham Podcast. Have a good day.
Of course, we're not the only team playing this weekend. Dirty League started the weekend off losing 1-0 last night to Wolves. As bad as we're doing, it's always nice to see Leeds lose. We've got a full weekend's worth of football. Let's have a look who's playing. Some big games in there, of course, the Merseyside derby, which is one of the most overrated derbies in world football. They don't even dislike each other. Fucking hell. It's like, I don't get how that classed as one of the best derbies. It's nowhere fucking near. Anyway, back to Sheffield United, and let's have a look at this upcoming game by the numbers.
United lead again at Old Trafford. It's gone in.
I haven't had a chance to make the graphics for this one part of the show, but there is plenty of Blades content out there to get your match day up and running. Of course, there's Roy, he always does the view from. He's got the Fulham pre-game comments, and after the game, he'll no doubt have post-game comments. Hopefully, it's nice to read and we've managed to get some out today. Sheffield United Way with Nick and Hal, they'll be doing the watch along, and of course they'll have a match review afterwards. As for us, we'll be back tomorrow with Air of the Dog. Oh God, I'm really looking forward to making that. I'm really not looking forward to this game, can you tell? It's getting to the stage now I just want season to be over and to concentrate on next season and hopefully have another good season on the cards and get this one, put it away, drink away the memories. And of course, there's always your Blades podcasts out there if you really need to build your match day up properly. If you have enjoyed this little breakfast show, please subscribe to the channel. Please press the little bell so you get notified every time we upload a new video. Follow us on social media. And let's hope we can manage to drag some out of today. Up the fucking Blades!
Baby, give it up.